He's so dang small. But it's a keeper. It's a keeper. It takes them at least that big, Larry, to get them to where we can get a hook stuck in them. And he got the hook on the outside of the lip. We're getting quite a few fish in there, though. All right, well, we might be a case we need to downsize the hook to get them on, but I don't want to catch any smaller fish than what we're catching. That's all it's going to do by using a small hook. Good live bait. It's what you need to have to catch a good lively fish. That cartilage is hard to get that hook through there at first, but that'll hold him on there good, and you just embed that hook just like that, and that's what you got. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like when, come on, hold still, when you're done. Okay, and that fish will come up and you'll grab that and get them hooks in his mouth. That's what's supposed to happen. Here's a good one, guys. Big bluefish, big bluefish. I got it, Debbie. Now these here are a nice size bluefish. I'm afraid he's gonna bite me. Water bite. My orange deal, there we go. Yeah. All right, we caught probably what, 4 or 5 of them yesterday that size. We're slowly getting. All right, guys, I want to take just a break from the show and show you the kind of rig and the equipment we were using on this particular show. I wanted to try to do this out in the boat, but with the wave action and the small boat and everything, I just couldn't get the right setup, so I decided to wait till I got on dry land. But this is basically the rod that we're using right here. Now, this is a Quantum reel. Okay, it's one of Quantum's bigger reels. It's the Optics 80, and I have it spooled with 60-pound test cigar line. Now, the reason for that being is because where we're fishing there's a lot of rocks and a lot of structure and stuff around the jetties, but most of all your ocean fish are toothy guys, okay, and they'll cut line in a heartbeat. So I really think, you know, if you're going to catch a lot of fish like that in the salt water, braided line or a good thick monofilament is the way to go. Even though we weren't, you know, fishing out in the blue water for the larger fish, that don't mean we couldn't catch a real good large fish where we were. As a matter of fact, we had to hook up on several fish that we just couldn't hold on. Now, this is an Eagle Claw heavy action rod, okay? Is a little bit too much rod for the particular conditions we were fishing in? I don't think so, because should we have got a 30-40 pound fish, would have been able to hold him and control him really good with this rod. It's important to remember, saltwater fish, unlike freshwater fish, are so much more powerful. And you need to have the right equipment to control them, because you get a light action rod and you get a big fish on it, or even a medium action rod and you get a big fish on it, you're going to have trouble controlling that fish. Trust me, I know, because I've been there and done it, and not had the proper equipment and gone out under gun, so to speak, with the wrong type equipment and been able to catch fish, but it was a whole lot harder to do. Now, I want to show you the rig that we use. This is kind of like my own rig that I figured out myself over several years of fishing. All right, we start out with our weight, and this right here is a 3.5 ounce barrel sinker. Okay, we're casting out behind the boat, so, and because of that, we didn't need to use a flat sinker. We just wanted these to get out and to go right down and lay on the bottom. Then we come up and we tie on a 60-pound test swivel. And after we tie that swivel on there, we come out with 18 inches roughly of leader. That can be your own discretion. And then we have another swivel. And the reason that I have two swivels on there is because when we're using the mullet, is what we were using for bait, and mid-Hayden, what happens is the way we rig them, and in the current there's a lot of twists, and a lot of the fish is constantly spinning round and round, which helps attract the other fish. But by doing that, it can cause a lot of line twist, and we're trying to stay away from that. Okay, from there I have some pre-tied rigs that I made, and I'll explain to you here in just a little bit why I made these rigs like this. But this here is actually tied on the 60-pound test leader. All right, from our first swivel, our second swivel, it comes down here to about 16 inches of line, and I have my hook tied on right there, okay? I tie my first hook on, and then depending on the size bait I'm using, I will tie another hook on, which I call a snubber hook, a trailer hook, on the very back. And the reason I do that is because this hook right here is the hook I want on the back. Now, it doesn't have to be a treble hook. You can use just another one of these single hooks just like that if you wanted to. This length right here is going to depend on how big and how long the bait is you're using. But I'll take this end right here, and this will go through the eye socket or up through the lips on that first hook. And this will come out and go on the tail. Most of the time, a bluefish, especially fishing in the current conditions, will come up from behind like this, and he will grab the bait and just snap it off right at the hook and right at the head. If you've noticed, if you ever bluefish in current conditions or anything like that, what happens is that the bluefish will come up, and all you'll have when you get that strike, they are so fast that they will just have just the head left on your hook. And they're notorious for that. And I got tired of doing that, so we tied on a snubber hook on the end right here. And if you look at that line, I don't know if the camera can show you that very well. If you look at that line, you can see where them teeth have frayed that line. That'll have to get changed next time I go out and fish for blues or anything like that. So you can see where that line has been frayed and damaged. Now, like I was saying, we were fishing probably about I'd say a 12, 15 knot outgoing tide. I'll fish, if I'm going to fish for blues, if I can get set up in a place where you've got the water pulling out into the ocean, I'll fish the outgoing tide and the incoming tide, especially about an hour or so after it's already started to move. Seems like that's when the fish are more active. Seems like that's when they come in and they try to get the bait, because you've got, with the outgoing tide, you've got all the bait that's leaving from all the rice fields and all the structure and every place they've been hiding during high tide. Well, now they're starting to move out, and these fish are moving in to take advantage of that. So, you know, after a year or so of doing this and getting bluefish and catching blues and losing them, because they've using that one hook, and they would every time just snap the bottom of the bait off. So I started threading the line through and coming out the tail with a threader and tying a hook on and doing that. And then the second year I made up these rigs here, and they're a lot easier to use. You don't have to use a threader and go through the fish. So that's just a good trick to use, especially for bluefish. You know, we caught a lot of reds and we caught a lot of black drum and things like that day. So that's just a really good technique for you to use, especially for these toothy critters. And if you're out there and you're getting a lot of bluefish hitting your bait and snapping it off, what you need to do is just tie you up a rig like that with two hooks on there, so that way you can go ahead and you can really put a stop to what they're doing. If you would like to see more shows and tips on multi-species hunting and fishing from Carolina Outdoor Adventures TV, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. And thanks for watching.